good morning, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I am a second year PhD student in History and African American Studies at Yale, and I'm taking you along for a little week in my life. We are getting off to a rolling start this morning. I had to get up and start getting ready because I have a call with my advisor at 9. We are going to be going over my plan. I just wanted to check in with him, and so I did a lot of prep last night, so I have all of my notes that I want to go over with him. I did some reading and some prep over the summer in order to kind of figure out where it is that I want to take my dissertation project. And ironically, I had various ideas on what I wanted to do with it, and ultimately came back to the original structure that I had for my dissertation at Oxford. However, the first section is going to be quite different. I was looking at the origin of matrilineal descent laws, its reception in the British American colonies, specifically Virginia in 1662, with the enactment of a slave code known as Parta Sequitur Ventrum. However, I have been reading up on the sources, and there's scholars such as Jennifer Morgan, Stephanie Jones-Rogers, Kathleen Brown, Jennifer Spears, who basically argue that it's really not possible to know where it's coming from. There's various arguments in circulation, and they basically say that it's really not possible to come up with a finalized conclusion or the one-all answer. And so I'm changing the project a little bit, and I'm gonna talk to my advisor about it and see what he thinks. But I've had such a good weekend. I've decided to have a bit of a mindset shift, and I'm gonna see how it goes. I used to be a professional athlete. I used to train every single day. The only day I took off was Monday, and at my fittest, at my most competitive, I was riding 6 days a week. I was going to the gym for 5 times a week. I was really not only physically very fit, but I was also very mentally into what I was doing and very focused. And even though I was only training to go to the local horse shows on the California circuit, I had the mindset that I was basically training for the Olympics. I think when you get to the professional level of athletic sport, it's really all about your mindset. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I used to be able to do just unbelievable things with my body. And so if I was able to do that, then I can manage to change my mindset and treat this similarly mindset-wise. I don't know if I'm saying that entirely coherently, but if I was able to control my mindset and be so focused and so dedicated back then, I can take that mindset and shift it over to my new life as an academic and as a business owner. The last week or so, I've just felt like I am just sprinting to keep up and just feeling like I'm just barely staying on top of everything. But no more of that. We are going to be on top of it. We are going to take control. I spent last night doing a lot of research, figuring out which grants I wanted to apply to, looking at timelines, thinking out the papers that I'm going to write for this semester, thinking about my comprehensive exams, thinking about my clients, scaling my team. I want to be as on top of it as I possibly can be. That is a long-winded way of introducing this vlog. I have my meeting in about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do some reading for class in between. Luckily, I already did all the prep that I feel like I need to do in order to meet with my advisor. So busy week, but we are heading into it with a good positive mindset. We are ready to go. We are gonna take this week by storm. We are gonna be the Elle Woods of our story. My meeting with my advisor went so well. I am really happy with the plan that I have, and he seems very supportive of it, and I'm just really happy with how it went. I have a plan for my article, my coursework, comprehensive exams, my timeline for when I'm going to take my exams, and I'm feeling very good about it. We also talked a little bit about my proposal and my change of kind of research structure slash plan, and he was also very supportive of it. So very, very happy this morning. We're getting off to the right start. I'm telling you, mindset shift, it makes a big difference. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down on the couch for a little bit and do a bit of reading for my urban ethnography class, and then I'm gonna head off into town, go to the AFAM department. I have to go ask one of the admins, Vanessa or Jody, how to access my mailbox, because apparently I have a mailbox, which I didn't know about. And then I have my workshop, and then I have a meeting with my new assistant, Chanel. I just hired her last week, and so she has been killing it through the weekend. She is a transfer student over at UCLA, and I'm so happy that she's there. She's also living in the same building that I lived in as a transfer student, so I hope she has as fun a time as I did as a Bruin. That all being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick little update because I'm really, really happy about it. Hello, friend. It went so well. I told him about my proposed plan, and he was totally on board. He gave me some suggestions. Okay. So I have class from like 11:30 to 1:30, and then I'll be back here. I have a meeting with Chanel at 5, but when I get back, I'll be working.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark? From so far away, show us where we are. What makes the sun go to sleep every night? And what's it dreaming of?
Ready?
I wonder. How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights. Why does the rain always keep on pouring down when it's gray outside? It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder.
It is many hours later. It's like 6:30 p.m. I had such a good day today. Had the workshop for urban ethnography, and then I went and studied with a classmate over at the Sterling. We went to one of the reading rooms upstairs, and now I'm going to clip Moo. Got a little flurry. It's time to do some hair. Yeah. She's not gonna be happy with me in a minute. She's like the cute level of fluffy right now, but we're on the way to looking like a Muppet. I'm gonna give her a little body clip, and then I need to get a bunch of work done. I got some reading done for my presentation for American legal history, but I wanna make sure that it's like perfect. I have some new ideas based on the articles that I was reading. I'm just on a freaking roll. Today is the best day. I also had a call with Chanel, who's my new intern, and she's my assistant on everything, and she is a rock star. She's been on top of it and has been doing such a good job, and I am so freaking thankful for her because I obviously have a crazy, crazy life. I'm gonna go ahead and give Moo a little clipping. She's not gonna be happy about it. And then I am going to go ahead and get to work. Paw. Thank you. Other. Paw. Paw. Very good. Good girl. Other paw. Good girl.
Where we are. It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. Ooh, I just wonder.
All right, it is about 11:30 p.m. I'm still reading. I'm just relocating over to the couch to hang out with Moo because she seems very upset that I'm working at my desk for so long today. I have many, many thoughts and many things that I'm working on for my presentation tomorrow. I figured I'd quickly show you guys my little mind map that I created. So I created this little mind map which covers all of my many thoughts and talking points as I'm going through the literature for tomorrow's presentation. I have a couple different overarching themes that I want to talk about, including Black women's reproductive labor, concepts and laws related to interracial marriage or marriage in general, the origins of parta sequitur venturem, concepts of consent, legal definitions of rape, lack of literature on sexual harassment and sexual violence enacted against enslaved men. There's a lot here that I want to dig into in the presentation tomorrow, but some of it I've read before and some of it I haven't. I'm looking at Tara Hunter's Wedlock in Wedlock, I think can't remember the exact title of it. And Brenda Stevenson's What's Love Got to Do with It, which is an article that was in Sexuality and Slavery, is one that I've read before. I had some thorough notes on it from when I was at Oxford, so I'm gonna incorporate that in my presentation. So doing really well. I am on a freaking roll today. I'm hoping I don't crash tomorrow, but we're just keeping it going. I'm having fun with it. And I am actually really looking forward to this presentation tomorrow, to being able to share a little bit about the work that I have dedicated my academic career to. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep on working. I'm on the accountability workshop with some of the Accepted Society members and Katie, and I'm just gonna sit here and get some reading done, and then I'll see you all tomorrow morning. That she had to wear a sweater. It was 55 degrees out today. Now we're gonna take it off because it's getting a little warm in the apartment. Okay, you can go back to your sun patch. So I stayed up last night, got some work done with Katie and Katerina in the accountability workshop. I'm up this morning doing some little admin things, just adding things to my to-do list so that way Chanel can update it. Then I'm gonna finish up my preparations for my presentation, do some reading for my documentary studies course, and that's pretty much the plan. And then this evening I need to edit a YouTube video so that it can go up tomorrow. I was planning on having the video go up today, but I just didn't have enough time to edit it, and I also kind of wanted to go up on my birthday. So that is the current situation. I'm gonna go ahead and get my work done, and I will check in with you all. All laid out. I'm really excited about it. There's so much more that I could say, but I'm gonna try to keep it reeled in a little bit because I think it's supposed to be like a 3-minute presentation and I have a lot of things that I could get into, but essentially I'm gonna tell you guys some of the overall themes, and if you have any questions or anything, I love talking about this stuff. It's something that I find deeply fascinating, also deeply disturbing. In my research, like, it encapsulates all of this, and I just find it really interesting to get to dig into it in a class that's not specifically on this study of slavery or early America. So first I begin by saying that there is a current public discourse around the transition or the through line from slavery to mass incarceration, as well as the reproductive freedoms or non-freedoms of Black women and concepts of motherhood as it relates to family structures in Black communities. The overarching themes that I've seen in the readings are the access to the law in early 17th and late 18th century as a phenomena in the American South due to various regulations of Black people's ability to access the court. Then looking at the establishment of positive law in the American colonies, first beginning with the first positive slave code in Massachusetts, which arises in 1641 in response to the Pequot War. Then we've got the Act 12, Parta Sequitur Ventrum in 1662, which is enacted in Virginia. Furthermore, we have other laws related to interracial marriage, miscegenation, etc., and what it is that they are going to do essentially with the status of those children, but also with white women who have children with free or enslaved Black men. Next, we have a theme related to marriage, personhood under the law, and citizenship, and the denial of access to marriage in response to concerns over access to citizenship and personhood, looking at the concept of common law marriages, especially in places like Louisiana. Next overarching theme is Black women's reproductive labor and the sexual economy of the American South, how their reproductive labor contributed to a growing labor force. There's literature related to this concept of kinship erasure or the denial of fatherhood from African men. This also relates to later themes in terms of the makeup of Black communities and what we see in, for example, the 1965 Moynihan Report and responses within Black scholarship to the Moynihan Report. We've also got the next theme, which is a lack of literature on the sexual harassment and violence experienced by enslaved men, as well as the involvement of white women in these systems of violence. And then I pointed out a couple different pieces of literature to look at. So we've got Thomas Foster's Rethinking Rufus, which is one of the first inquiries into the status of Black men and the sexual violence that they experience. And we've got Stephanie Jones Rogers, They Were Her Property, which looks at white women's involvement in the sexual economy and the general economy of slavery in the American South. Then we've got legal definitions of consent and concubinage, which is affected by evolving sexual attitudes, this concept of the public versus the private, and what can be seen as something that is regulated beyond the plantation or the family's home. And lastly, we've got new perspectives on the role of statutory law versus custom, which is introduced into the literature by scholars such as Jeremy Handler, and the legal right to enslaved children. Stephanie Jones Rogers has an upcoming book where she argues that Partis addressed only the mixed race children born, quote unquote, in this country, which of course leaves open the possibility that different laws apply to children not born in the colonies, but rather in West Africa or at sea, or perhaps in the Caribbean. There's a lot of different things that I want to discuss in class, but that's my little spiel, and that kept it to about 3 minutes, so I think I should be good. I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. There's also a lot of things that I could bring up that I am going to leave out of the presentation, mostly because of time. These are the things that I study and have been studying since undergrad, and I think they're just so interestingly interconnected, looking at the laws related to citizenship and also looking at how marriage plays into that, but also the legal denial of one's right to their children, but also how that affects kind of hereditary ties and the inability of children to trace their parentage or their heritage backwards is something that I also find deeply disturbing. And also it's something that I look at in my research related to matrilineal descent and how women and their children are separated, and the kind of general economy of reproduction in the American South. But that's my little spiel. I just really like getting to talk about my research, so I hope you guys don't find it boring. I just love being able to talk about it. Now it is time to continue doing some reading and prepare for class. I have class in about an hour, and then we'll be heading off to campus. That's my plan. Having a good day. Hope you guys are too. And let's keep on going. Boba in hand. I have an appointment in like 30 minutes with the Director of Graduate Studies from the AFAM department to discuss some kind of just general requirement logistics for my degree and for advancing to the next stage. And then I have a union meeting at 5 and 2 clients this afternoon. One of my new clients and then also a pro bono client. So busy day. The presentation went well. The conversation went slightly in a different direction than I was expecting, which was actually quite fascinating. We talked a little bit more about 19th century law of slavery, which understandably makes sense because we're looking a little bit more at the US legal system. A lot of my work looks a little bit more at the British colonial legal system. But there was one point that I was like, you know what, I shouldn't make it because otherwise I'm going to be talking for forever, and so I should save it. And I wish I had just made it because it was something that honestly would have contributed to the discussion, so I felt a little stupid for not saying it, and I felt like what I was saying was slightly out of touch with what the professor was looking for. But regardless, it did go well. I am happy. I'm proud of myself for getting through it, and now my brain is fried. I feel like I had all this adrenaline going into that presentation today, and now I'm ready to crash, but I have a lot of work to do. Moo's staring at me because she's been very needy today. You have something you want to say? I'm going to just kind of decompress for a couple minutes, and then I am going to head on to Zoom for my meeting and get all that done. So regardless, I have had a good day, and Moo's now licking my jeans, and I don't know why. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off, and I'll check in with you guys in a couple hours, let you know how it's going. We're gonna get some studying done tonight, get a bunch of reading done, and see what else we get up to. I know I need to edit a YouTube video so that you guys have something to watch. Everyone, today is not Wednesday, which means that it is my birthday. It feels really weird that today is my birthday, just given that it feels like any normal day, but I feel like that's how every birthday feels. I got up this morning, got some really nice texts from my friends, and in particular I got some messages from my friends at Oxford, and I just miss them so much. I'm like dying to get back to England. I may not have already been looking at plane tickets and whatnot to go for spring break, which is so far away. I honestly just want to go sooner. But I was there in the winter, and it is not fun. It is so cold. And if I'm gonna go, I'd rather make sure that I'm able to go do things and go see friends and that everybody's there. And I feel like if I go around the holidays, that most people are gonna be with family and not at Oxford or in London. So I am trying to plan a trip, and then I really want to spend next summer there, so we'll see. But I had the diversity committee meeting this morning over at the history department, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on some shoes and head on over because it starts in 20 minutes, and I was gonna stop for coffee, but I don't have time. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick up food and whatnot on the way back as a little treat because obviously it's my birthday and I'm gonna treat myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and get packed up. I have a couple things I need to like go to drop off at the post office and whatnot, so I'm gonna go put that in a bag and head out the door. So let's go ahead and get this day started. Now back home from my diversity committee meeting, and I also went out and ran a bunch of errands that I've honestly been putting off. I had to go drop off my dry cleaning, I had to go drop off some returns at the mail post office, and then I made my way back home, and I ordered the new iPhone, and I can pick it up on Friday. So I also placed an order to get a phone case because I want to make sure that I protect it as soon as I get it. And I am now home, obviously. I had the diversity committee meeting this morning, and then I came home and did the Yale Early American Historians working group session, and now I have about an hour until my next appointment. And since it is my birthday, and I was supposed to take today entirely off, but then there was just a bunch of meetings that were scheduled, I am going to go ahead and let myself take a little nap. And then I have a mentor call with one of the girls from Accepted Society for the accountability workshop. During the accountability workshop, I will get my reading done for tomorrow, and I am just going to try to take it a little easy and just enjoy my day. I don't get many of these, so I'm going to take my time, cuddle up with Moo in bed. It is a dreary day outside. It is raining, but it is really hot. It's just really, it's strange. New England weather confuses me as a Californian. I will check in with you guys in a couple of hours, and then I'm gonna go out for dinner with Sarah this evening, which I'm really looking forward to. We're gonna go to Pacifico and have some mojitos and some really delicious food. So check in a bit. Hope you're doing well. Time to nap. morning. Happy Thursday. I am up this morning getting some readings done. I did not film for the rest of the day yesterday because honestly, I just wanted to enjoy my birthday and just kind of tune out for a little while. I went to dinner with Sarah, had a couple drinks, and just enjoyed myself, and then I went to bed early. I was planning on doing reading last night, but I decided that I had been really on top of my readings this semester. I feel really good about my status in all of my courses, and so I was like, you know what, you deserve to take tonight off. And if there was any night that I was going to take it easy, it was going to be on my birthday. So I am up this morning. I've gone ahead and locked my phone away into a drawer in the kitchen so that way I can focus on my readings this morning. I am working on some court cases about the fugitive slave laws from the 19th century, and I am going through the court decisions and I am marking them up. So in my notes, I use green for primary sources, so something that is being said in the time period, and then I use blue for secondary sources, and then I use a different color. I use like a brown if it's a comment that I think is really important that I want to make sure that I flag for later. So I'm just going through these documents before class. I'm going to work on this for an hour, and then I'm just going to switch gears and focus on documentary studies. Today I have documentary studies and my American legal history class. Then I've got to come home and do a bunch of work for my clients. I have 5 clients that I just finished up with over the last week that have finalized all their documents. They're sending their applications to Oxford, Cambridge, King's, and UCL. I am so excited for them, and I'm crossing my fingers. They are in the best spot they possibly can be in order to get into these schools. The biggest goal for me is making sure that whenever I work with a client that they are leaving with as much confidence as we can give them in their application, and so that they are as prepared as they possibly can be when they go apply to these schools. So it's a good morning. I'm just sitting here getting some work done with Moo. I was working at my desk, but then the sun started coming in and yesterday was kind of dreary, so I figured Moo and I would sit here on the couch together. She loves the sun patch, and just get a little bit of work done. So that's my little update. I'm just gonna keep on working, and I will check in with you all a little while later. Documentary studies class. We spoke specifically about the application of different types of sound and narration and how it affects the way that you view certain films, documentaries, sources. We looked at a couple different films from the 1940s and then after the World War II with the fall of the Berlin Wall. So really interesting class. It makes me think in a very different way. I just wish it wasn't on Zoom. I am so drained from being on Zoom, and after doing it for a year and a half, I'm sure we're all kind of over it. I have class in about an hour over at the law school. We are talking about slave law and resistance, specifically looking at the fugitive slave laws and its impact on kind of federal regulation and state regulation at the time of the kind of Federalist and Republican debates and the kind of breakdown of unionization and as we head into, you know, the Civil War era politics, and it should be an interesting discussion. This is the last week where we are essentially in the time period that I find the most fascinating, and we will be moving on into the 19th and 20th century very soon, which my little 17th and 18th historian brain is not a fan of, but that's okay. And I just find law really fascinating, like the actual legal reasoning of these cases, looking at these decisions, and I keep having this back and forth of if I should go to law school or not. Everybody keeps telling me I should. Well, I still really love the application of law, and I'm just trying to figure out whether or not going and getting professional legal training in a JD program would benefit my scholarship and in what ways. So anyway, that's my ramblings for the morning. That's where my head is at this current moment in time. But I feel so drained. I was so peppy earlier this week, and I don't know, being in my apartment and not having things to do like out and about really just sucks the life out of me, and I don't like it. So I am going to head off to class in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and catch up with you all later. I'm gonna take you guys with me on my walk over to campus, and we'll see how this class goes.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Hello everyone, it is many hours from the last time I checked in. I had my class today. We looked at the public law of slavery and resistance, looking at the kind of impact of fugitivity across state lines in the midst of the slave state conflict. And it was a really interesting discussion, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the slavery and capitalism debate on Tuesday. Then after my class, I came home and I had a client consultation, and then I ended up hanging out with Danielle for a little while over Zoom, reviewing some client documents, and now it is midnight, and I'm going to go ahead and call it a week, call it a vlog. I know it's just Thursday night, but tomorrow I have some fun things planned. I ordered some things for my birthday. As I think I said earlier in this vlog, I bought the new phone, the new iPhone, so I'm gonna go pick that up tomorrow. And I also reordered a bunch of my old writing equipment because I lost it in the fire when I was with Liam, and I have not had riding boots or my helmet since then, and so I went ahead and took the plunge and reordered my equipment. I would like to get back into riding. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Honestly, my schedule just doesn't allow for it at the moment, but I would like to get into it when I'm back home over the winter break. So I bought the equipment. I'm just going to try to break it in a little bit while I'm in my apartment, and then get back into the swing of things this winter. I would like to go back and train with my sister, and then hopefully find someone to go ride with out here. My spring semester is going to be crazy, but not nearly as crazy as this semester, and so I would like to see if I can get back into riding regularly. But that is my update, and if you don't know what I mean by riding, I used to ride horses professionally. I don't know if I mentioned that, so that's something I want to get back into if I can. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a shower, call it a night, and go ahead and wrap up this vlog. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below how your week is going. I would love to know how the semester is going for you. If you just started classes, I know that Chanel is over at UCLA, which is on the quarter system. They just started today. So if you have started your term, or if you're heading off to Oxford and you're starting in a couple weeks, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear where you're at. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.